So tell me, what are we talking about today?
Today, Keepin the Geek Bros podcast, episode 99.2. We've got China to ban online gaming, chatting with foreigners outside Great Firewall, Sony indefinitely postponing The Last of Us 2 and Ironman VR, Bob Iger thought he was leaving, Vibe is always right, coronavirus, a line in the sand, Garbanzo's corner. We all know the answer is 42, but what is the question? Clone Wars Season 7 review, episodes 6, 7, and 8. We're catching up. Question of the day. In a world where there are so many video games available, how do you manage which games you want to play and why? SqueezyBits Picks. We got SqueezyBits in the house. What is the best movie soundtrack? All this and more. This is episode of Keepin the Geek Bros, a family podcast, allegedly. Stay tuned.
In a world where geeking out never looked so good, two incredibly sexy men will rise for your auditory pleasure. Here's your hosts, keeping up with the Geek Bros.
Yes, Keepin the Geek Bros podcast. I'm your host, Vibe, and with me are my fellow co-hosts.
Darth Flex, motherfucker.
Garbanzo.
And Roz.
Oh, wait, can I be in here too?
Featuring...
SqueezyBits. Hey!
Yeah, all right. Now, Flex, before we get into today's topics, please tell these fine individuals how to find us on social media.
Absolutely. So, you guys could tune your earplugs out to, first of all, let's start with YouTube because it's a good one, right? You can check it out at youtube.com/Firebase Studios. That's VIBEREVSTUDIOS. Check out really cool videos, really good insights. Now, you can also find us on Instagram and Twitter at Geek Bros with a zero. That's GEKEBR0S. Also, if you want to send us cool topics, maybe some questions, nudes, maybe some dog pictures, I don't know, check us out on geekbros0 at yahoo.com. And also, the first place to find the Geek Bros, weeblygeekspc.com. We love you, Mike. Hey, Mike, also, I want to give a very, very heartfelt Geek Bro shout to hope you're safe, hope you're doing well, hope your family is safe during this epidemic. I know it's crazy for all of us. Mike, I really hope you're doing well, and we do appreciate you for putting out our podcast. Really, you are the fire to our spark, so thank you, Mike.
Yes, thank you. That was very heartfelt and so out of character for you.
Well, I like Mike. He was cool, right?
I was really like Mike. I'm just saying.
We were sort of balls off of acid, and he still gave us a fucking podcast. So, yeah.
No ads. And until afterwards. All right, so we're moving on to gents. Anything to report in this quarantine world?
Yes. So for me, Darth Flex, first of all, I finished Tiger King, all of it. I'm starting Naruto.
Including the follow-up?
Yeah, the follow-up. Yeah.
The one at
I've been finishing up my patio, and lastly but not least, I've actually damn, I forgot what I was going to say. It's my patio, finished Tiger King. I completely forgot what I was going to say. It was actually pretty important.
I know you hold that thought. We're going to go on to Garbanzo, and then you circle back on so man. Is that wind or somebody's breathing hard into their mic?
No, I don't know.
Oh, dude, I can't redirect my thing.
Well, what's been going on with me lately? Let me see. Just trying to find ways to bring some income in. It's since they have the curfew, it's kind of hard walking down on Biscayne to.
Lincoln Road, man. Lincoln Road is where you're gonna make that kind of money.
It's all locked down. It's all locked down right now. It's like I figured if I just stick around by the fun places that maybe somebody will be like, hey, you look cuddly. But apparently it's not working for me. So, I'm doing other things, just regular work, but I'm actually enjoying it. I got a little gig at a cool spot that I will not name because I don't want to have to pay them later on for whatever reason.
Give me free shit.
But I will say that there are many perks to my job currently, and definitely some really cool things I could take home by purchasing them, of course, and enjoy them throughout the week.
It's an adult store, isn't it? It's a sex club.
Wait,
no, they sell alcohol because that is essential.
I remember.
I think sports is essential now in South Florida.
If Garbanzo, if you're done, I remember what I did. Are you done?
Yeah. Go ahead.
I have 100% finished all of Garbanzo's and Raza's mugs for the Geek Bros.
Oh,
Though, I will not be showing any of that until we are able to meet in person, and Garbanzo can chug whatever beers fit in there, and Raz, whatever drink of his choice, can fit in there, and then we'll display it and show it.
Raz agreed to Blue Moon last time, so it's fine.
No, he did not. Do not.
Did you not see him just now? He just not.
No. I will say this. According to your sister, Garbanzo, you're gonna cry.
Oh my god.
Probably.
So,
I
Just thinking about it, he's crying.
Trust me, I'm
Yeah.
more excited than you can imagine.
No, you're gonna cry. Also, I will hand you a book so you can learn Sindarin, and then you can translate what I wrote on that mug for you, because then you will really cry.
Aww.
Thank you, sir. That is a true friend.
In the arms
Lex.
of an angel.
Mike. Is anything to report?
Man, I wish I had some exciting stories to tell. The best I have is I've been trying to buy a new couch. So I have a new couch coming in. And icing on the cake, I have no way of getting the old couch out of my fucking house.
Oh man. Put it on the curb.
Yeah.
Happens.
That's a quick fine from the homeowners association, my man.
How big is the couch?
It's a sectional, bro.
Oh damn! You're playing
Yeah,
Tetris.
We'll talk. If I get some measurements, and because I'm
Going
looking
to the meet.
Okay.
Two
Oh.
couch setup there.
I like it.
It's either that or you can come by the house. We have masks on. Take a sledgehammer to the thing.
Well,
Hey, that's-
either way.
That's how the kids old bunk bed out of the room. They sledgehammered the hell out of it. It was great.
Yeah.
Sad but great. SqueezyBits, anything to report?
I've
Showing in like 72.
thanks to you guys, I've changed the format of my whole YouTube channel. So I've been just writing and trying to find some content. Trying to kind of like create a little better synergy between your channel and my channel. Trying to create like maybe unique content for you guys to interact with, and then I can interact. So we can have like a little bit of ping ponging on the side.
I love collaboration.
Yeah.
I love ping pong.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
I like my Uncle Pong too. It's great.
I miss you, bro.
Oh, cool. All right. I got nothing to report. I mean, I got my wish. I got my 14 days off from work, so I've been out since last Wednesday, and it feels great.
Oh, you got the gift?
I got the gift. I got the gift of time off. So, and I was the first volunteer, so I absolutely. So that's pretty much it. So I'm actually working on a lot of things, and that actually segues into Garbanzo.
What's going on with the Geek Bros?
Yeah, thank you. A little more enthusiasm next time, but I appreciate it.
Well, no, because the whole thing is like I got distracted.
I understand.
I was actually just. So what's going on with the Geek Bros?
That's more like it. All right, go to the Geek Bros. New YouTube thumbnail will debut with, oh yes, the Witcher review is complete. I'm going through a second pass of it right now. It is still 2 episodes because it's 53 minutes of raw footage, but it's the new YouTube thumbnail, which I do or do not like. Will be debuting on part 1 and part 2 of the Witcher review, which should be coming out this week. I have to do one more pass because I think I want to clean up a little bit. It's still a little long, and the YouTube, the Geek Bros YouTube channel will be going live officially next week. I'm working really hard on it. I'm transferring over a lot of content. I'm building different playlists from the Vibro Studios. So if things go well, because I'm doing a lot of work right now on my time off, then we will now be streaming and uploading exclusively on youtube.com/geekbros, GEKBROS. So look forward to that. So that's new YouTube thumbnail for our videos featuring our 3 new caricatures. The Witcher review, part 1 and part 2, debut out this week along with the thumbnail, and the Geek Bros official YouTube should be going live next week. As long as I'm done cataloging everything, I'm talking about it's a lot of stuff. Geek Bros, Keepin Geek Bros unboxing. I'm cataloging everything, and I didn't realize how much stuff we actually produced in the last couple of years. So, with that being said, this is your first time listening to our broadcast, and please take a moment to subscribe in your favorite podcasting app. If you're watching us, then don't forget to subscribe, comment, and share. What is going on over there?
I'm peeing right now.
I know you're not. No, you're not. No, you're not. You are.
I'm burning a kill, bro. What the fuck?
Okay, if you're watching us, then please don't forget to subscribe, comment, and share. YouTube is a favorite corporate channel, so intermittent productions like ours aren't being recommended. It's reducing our views and limiting our exposure to new audience. So without further ado, episode 99.2 starts now.
Now.
Let's get to the coronavirus update.
There you go.
These stimulus checks have arrived, apparently. So
We've been stimulated.
And so I guess I'll just go around the room. What do you guys, if anything, are going to be spending your stimulus checks on? Darflex.
Well, you already saw. I spent my stimulus check on fixing on my backyard so I can have a backyard for my dogs to play in and I can grill in, can chill in. That's pretty much it because I don't really have a lot of expenses other than my backyard. And beer.
And beer.
It's going into my savings account for when I need to pay rent.
Okay. Roz.
Throwing it in the bank, savings account. Nothing exciting.
I mean, you can't even order hookers or anything because
what are we gonna do?
Actually, wait.
You're right. You're absolutely right.
Can I get one more turn?
Yes.
So at this very moment, at this very moment, I have a house list for $250,000. The house is complete shit, so it's not gonna sell for that. So I'm gonna wait till the contract expires, and I'm gonna buy it myself. And I'm gonna sign the contract for like $15,000, and I'll put $100 down for the holding costs, and that's how I'm gonna use my stimulus money. I'm gonna make about $15,000 out of $200,000, or $1,200. Yeah.
Okay, that's how you invest. I'm not sure what just happened, but yeah, appreciate you, SqueezyBits. Save us.
I'm definitely gonna spend that crap, but I have to wait till I'm activated back in work. I recently switched over from Sony to Canon, so like switching over glass is really expensive. I only have like one lens right now, and I normally have like 4 or 5 on me. So I already have a piece of glass that I want to buy. As soon as I get activated, I'm definitely gonna empty out my bank account because I'm very irresponsible. It's great.
Nate, don't feel bad. A good chunk of that for me is, of course, going to my studio. This year, I didn't put anything to my studio except for buying a new camera, and I might actually go on eBay, see if I can buy a 3rd camera. That'd be great, actually. Have a 3-camera setup would be like a 2-camera setup right now is awesome, even though one of the cameras is kind of wishy-washy. But
and then are you going to do one of those cameras like the ones like facing down so you can like see what someone's doing with their hands?
That'd be great.
For no reason whatsoever except for like hand puppets.
In a perfect world, I would have 2 cameras. One this way, one that way, and one this way. And I'm just literally editing between the 2. So now I don't have to do punch cuts. So I don't have to like pretend like I have a 3-camera setup. I'll actually have a 3-camera setup because you know how I edit. I edit it like I want to pretend like it's 3 cameras. So I do the wide shot. I do the left. I do the left and the right. So it'd be great to actually have 3 cameras dedicated to the different angles that I want and cut in between them without losing any of the quality of the video. But we'll see. Other than that, I don't know. Probably put it in a bank and save it until the world starts again and go on vacation. I haven't been on vacation in a decade, so a real vacation. So that's my plan.
Well, quick tip about since you shoot Sony, you should totally pick up the A6100, and it has a clean HDMI out, so you can totally use it for like live and stuff like that.
4K?
It's actually a downsampled 8K. So it takes the 8K image, so you get the high dynamic range, you get the details, you get the textures, but it lowers it down to a 4K resolution.
No, because I don't
It's-
want it in 4K. 4K is kicking my ass right now. I need to upgrade my system to
Yeah, the
4K.
computer, man.
No, it's
Uh,
actually, it's the computer's fine. I mean, I don't know if it's Adobe, but Adobe doesn't like 4K.
Well,
And
there,
this is 4K that's coming from a cell phone, and it just wouldn't. I have to
yeah,
pre-render.
those are terrible codecs though.
Yeah.
Oh, is that what it is?
Yeah, because the Sony has a really. I used to shoot Sony, so like I'd edit like on an older Mac and stuff like that. And the 4K on the Sony is only actually 100 megabits, and it's a really friendly codec. So like you can take 20 minutes on Final Cut and edit it and render in like a total of maybe 4 minutes or so.
I'm not concerned about rendering. I'm concerned about actually reviewing it on the timeline. It's giving me a hard time. But I would think, Garbanzo, you have it's an Apple phone, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I assumed that the iPhone 4K images, would work really well on Adobe on a Mac, but it wasn't working out for me, and it was driving me nuts. I had to pre-render the entire video, then I could edit it, and then re-pre-render it, and then render it. So that's another reason why The Witcher took so long, is because I couldn't review it on my timeline without pre-rendering the whole thing first.
And it was also almost 60 gigs worth of debt.
Yeah.
Remember, scrubbing through video is really reliant on your CPU. So if you have an older CPU, it's gonna tank with 4K, especially because the iPhone does record at a pretty high bit rate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You should at least rent a Sony. Like at least rent it, give it a shot, because for example, 1080 on a Canon is 150 megabits versus 1080 or 1080 on a Sony is closer to like maybe 35 megabits. So there's a big difference in codec.
Oh wow.
Well, come with me. I was planning on renting a couple of cameras for our live whenever our live happens anyway. So I would have that dynamic range. So come with me. We'll go check it out and rent a whole bunch of things and take it over to a 10th level tavern. All right. Well, that's it for the coronavirus update. Time to move on for the fresh scent.
Nothing to do with coronavirus.
How? That's part of the stimulus check is the coronavirus. That's part of the update.
That's true.
I mean,
it's still out there.
Well, I think Florida, for example, updated that sports is essential. So we might bring back UFC, we might bring back the NBA, and all host it in South Florida and stuff like that.
UFC is not coming back, actually.
Yeah.
Oh, my bad.
I can tell that right now because I'm not making any money off it. So
I was being hopeful for you.
Yeah, everything's even what's this freaking guy, Vince McMahon? The WWE is even firing like a huge amount of their performers. So even fake sports are suffering.
Not fake, bro. I just watched that Netflix movie.
That is real sports. It's just scripted.
Scripted sports.
Leave Brittany alone.
We're saying fresh scent. What's new in the gaming world? Are there any video games out this week, Darflex?
Yes, there are actually, but it's actually very little, so it's quite sad actually. So let's kind of get to the video games. What day is today? It is the 15th?
Coronavirus update.
April 15th, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so we're gonna start over at April 23rd, which I think actually. Holy shit! There are no games this week.
There are no games?
But
What?
you know what? How about I give you the games on this week for the rest of April?
Yeah.
No.
Games
Okay, do it. Go for it. But
We're already here. We're here.
We got April 21st. We got the Flower Collectors for the PC. We had on April 23rd Cloud Punk for the PC. April 24th, one of my favorites, XCOM Chimera Squad for the PC. We have Trials of Mana for the PC, PS4, and Nintendo Switch. Then we have Naruto Shirupen Ultimate Ninja Storm 4 Road to Boruto for the Nintendo Switch. We have Predator Hunting Grounds. That's gonna be a good game for the PC and PS4. Then on the 28th, we have Sakura Wars for the PS4. Then we have SnowRunner for the PC, PS4, and Xbox One. Then we have Moving Out, PC, PS4, Xbox One, and Nintendo Switch. Then we have Gears Tactics for the PC. And lastly, April 30th, we have Legends of the Runeterra for the PC and the mobile.
that's it? That's unfortunate.
That's for the month.
Well, That's not good.
Well, because it's happening. I mean, you can't really.
Everything's been postponed to the end of the year.
Huh.
They're
Okay.
waiting for AK. Oh.
All right. Well, we're gonna move on to China to ban online gaming, chatting with foreigners outside the Great Firewall. This article comes from TaiwanNews.com. Roz.
Oh man, so upon further reading, I can't really be sure if this is real, but China has been losing their shit over Animal Crossing, the new one that just came out, because people are using it to chat. No, you can chat within the game.
Oh,
with other
okay.
people if you go into there. Yeah, if you exactly. So every now and then, the Great Wall of the internet starts rolling upwards, and they start banning things. But apparently, they've been getting pretty aggressive. So they're talking about banning their access to any online games that connect outside of the Great Wall of China.
But is this another version of their censorship, or they're trying to prevent what?
Absolutely, it's another version of their censorship. It's to keep people from, engaging with anybody outside of China. The report comes from a Taiwan newspaper that, we can't really be sure because there's not a lot of corroboration coming from anywhere. But, I'm taking it with a grain of salt, and it sounds like a believable story. A lot of people online are super celebrating this, though, because, a lot of the communities, the game communities that have a lot of Chinese players, tend to suffer from hacking a lot. So they're kind of celebrating right now.
Hacking from the Chinese
Yeah.
players, they'll hack that. Oh, okay. That's unfortunate. There was a question. There was a follow-up question I had, but now I lost the thread. All right.
But besides the censorship aspect of it, what else is going on?
Oh, fucker is wearing a kilt.
Told you.
Jesus Christ.
And besides the censorship aspect, I mean, I was reading the article, and they're trying to actually kind of like spin it as well as they're doing it for the betterment of the Chinese people because they're putting in curfews now from like 8 p.m. until 10 p.m. to 8 a.m. To fight gaming addiction. Making it seem like it's all altruistic, but the fact of the matter is that they're just like kind of closing them off. They're bottlenecking them into just like you can only speak to your neighbor, and that's it.
Is China like you know how Korea has like the PC bongs, which is like a giant PC room where all
they have huge gaming cafes, which like there are large corporations that have a big presence over there, like Blizzard has a lot of PC bonds over there for World of Warcraft because they don't sell single subscriptions for World of Warcraft in China. They sell it through, I think it's Tencent. They sell these big internet cafe subs, and shit. Now they're not going to be making money if they start shutting it down.
Yeah, and it's a valid point. So I don't know. We'll see what happens now.
I think like as a gamer, like everyone should at least go to like a PC bong at least once. It's amazing. Go and smell like cigarettes afterwards and kimchi.
I mean, I don't know about the rest of you guys, but I know that in gaming heyday, when if you wanted to play with somebody else,
LAN
parties, you would actually have to lug around your PC, bring around that super big ass screen and your tower and everything, and like have your parents help you bring it over to your friend's house.
Dude, flying to Austin, Texas for QuakeCon, lugging your PC with you. Shit.
Oh, you got to do it third world style though, dude. You got to pay some old man like $2 to play his game, dude. It's great.
But yeah, all right. Well, we'll see what turns out, man. Roz, thanks for this one because that was a great pick, man.
Oh, speaking of Roz's pick, Sony indefinitely postponing The Last of Us 2 and Ironman VR battle review. Oh, I don't know why I put review there, but there you go. Roz, tell us about it. I mean, there's articles.
Yeah, there's not really. There's a ton of articles, but there's really not much to say other than Sony is suspending in perpetuity so far. The Last of Us 2. Less important would be the Ironman VR game because really no one cares about that. But The Last of Us 2, everyone's been waiting for that game for years. They've been teasing it since 2016, showing us trailers every E3 for the last 3 years, and it was supposed to release, I think, next month.
Yeah.
And usually when they postpone games, they postpone them a few months or to the end of the year, like they did with what is it? Cyberpunk 2077.
Yep.
Was postponed to the end of the year.
Which was heartbreaking as well.
Yeah, I'm still suffering from that. But this has no end date, and they're refunding the money that anybody paid to pre-order the game on PSN.
Wow.
So it's not just, hey, we'll get back to you. It's like, we don't fucking know when we're releasing this. Here's your money back.
But here's the thing, and I have to ask this question. I'm not a coder or game designer or anything, but isn't video game design and all that stuff, isn't that one of the ones that is more suitable for working from home? I mean, can they not do this work from home?
So, no. Yes and no. There are certain things that you can do from home. Like if you're programming, in whatever programming language you're working on, generally that's okay. But you still need a development kit to work with.
Okay.
Dev kits are generally PCs or really up-powered versions of the consoles, and studios don't have a lot of them. Only in-house studios do. Naughty Dog is an in-house studio. However, they're still not going to have a dev kit for every single one of their employees. With that said, the game is already feature complete. They announced it on their Twitter. They said, the game is done. We're just polishing it. The release is being postponed, but they're not really saying why. My guess is they want to be able to release the game digitally and physically. Right now, they can't release a physical game.
Right,
Yeah, that's true.
right. Okay.
So,
I mean, technically, they can still do it physically. It would just get mailed to your house.
true.
I mean, the whole thing is like even with GameStop, you can still order a physical copy. It just gets mailed to your house. Or I think in some places like their curbside pickup, are they still doing that?
And
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
So I mean, it is what it is.
What are you doing?
that's a huge hit. That's a massive
the same
game.
thing I want to ask. What the hell are you doing, SqueezyBits? I mean, you're drawing on yourself. I'm trying to stay focused. I'm just looking at you as you draw on yourself. This is why sometimes it does pay to watch us on YouTube, guys. Just throwing that out there.
Sorry, I was trying to imitate what
Flex. Yeah,
Flex was doing. He's on another level right now.
makes sense. Last minute entry that I threw in there, I just remembered about it. Okay, and Roz, help me out with this. The game I'm playing right now is that NieR Automata.
NieR Automata. Yeah.
NieR Automata Becomers Gods Edition Xbox Game Pass review. I'm playing this game right now. I received the game box last year, Xbox last year from two people, whoever they were, and the Garbanzo and Mrs. Disney wifey. Every time I turn on the Xbox, I feel more and more ashamed because it took me literally 8 months to even touch it after they gave it to me, because I'm enjoying so much of it, and I'm Game Pass was Game Pass who referred it to me? I mean, I know all of you were yelling at me about it to get it, and it's been the best thing that's ever happened to me. I'm finding games just randomly, and this one is beautiful. I'm gonna play a little bit of the trailer because you gotta see the gameplay before I actually do a mini review. I'm probably a quarter of the way through the game. You guys know me. I'm a slow burn when it comes to these games. I did finish Battle Chasers. Just want you guys to know that. Fantastic.
I want to interrupt a
Yes.
second. You're not a quarter or halfway through the game at all. The game has 26 endings.
Okay.
Yeah.
So 1%.
Not only does the game wait, it's better than that. Not only does the game have 26 endings, but the endings are all reliant on the previous one. So you can't just say, I beat the game, I got ending 17, that's as much as I know. Every single ending ties into the next one. Once you get to the 26th ending, that is the end of the game because the story continues through each playthrough, and each playthrough is different.
I did not know that. He was going to have me playing for a while. Let's play a clip first, and then you're going to explain more of that because I just played the game because it's kind of fun. All right, I'm sharing my screen.
Wait. Audio.
Bassy.
That sounds terrible.
Super bassy.
No? What does it sound like?
That sounds like you're piping it from hell itself.
Really? I'm playing again. Hold on.
Oh God! You're gonna have to edit that out.
Like,
You're gonna blow someone's eardrums.
really? All right, I'm gonna put
Speakers.
I'm gonna
Like
put it
legit.
I'll put it on mute and just check this out. Okay, this is what I'm playing right now. This is the kind of game we're looking at here.
Are we gonna do voiceovers? Let's do voiceovers.
No, no voiceovers. It's fine. I'm just saying, like, this is
What are these squares around me?
exactly. I didn't.
Oh,
Funny, the bosses that I played in this game, I yelled out literally. I didn't know Chef Ross was in this game, so it was really funny. But this is the kind of gameplay, and it's really weird the way the camera works and how it goes from like a platformer to a space shooting game to a open world to a mech game. Like you're looking at it right now, and this is what this
It's
is
a Gundam.
exactly. And it
oh,
transfers.
you get your own droid.
Yeah, something to
Sure. Yeah.
And-
yeah.
Is this a beta? It looks like a beta, dude.
No, it's not a freaking beta. This is the original game. Why does it look like a beta? How does it look like a beta to you?
It's a low bit stream video. So.
There you go. Ah.
But anyway,
Oh, me and him have the same tattoo, bro.
I know that's right. So, I love this game. It's everything. It's everything that Kingdom Hearts should be and more, in my opinion. I'm being real. Like, think of Kingdom Hearts' gameplay, a little bit of its story, and instead of traveling to worlds on a gummy ship, all those worlds are just jammed together in one gigantic like map. And
You're describing an open world game right now.
yeah, I know, I can say open world, and then people will be like, "What does that mean?" So I'm putting it down to like think Kingdom Hearts, but just throw all the worlds together. And yeah, it's an open world game, and it's just so great. The different locations are beautiful. The music,
Yeah.
the music is incredible. I really have ever complimented a game on its music. This game's music for every location for certain things is incredible. I'll hear there's one of these jams. I don't remember. It was one of the boss battles, and I paused the game just to listen to the music. And I turned it up, and I was jamming to it. The music in this game is incredible. The gameplay is incredible. The graphics. I mean, you know what's so funny? I'll turn the lights off. Yeah, you can say that name. I'm not even gonna attempt to say that name.
The composer of the game is Keiichi Okabe,
Yeah,
and he does like some really cool, kind of crazy compositions.
competitions are fantastic. And anyone that likes playing against war games or hack and slash RPGs, that's what it is, or action RPG, and enjoy a little bit of the platforming concept, a little bit of the what do you call those games where it's just a plane on rails and it's shooting?
Shmup.
No, seriously.
A shmup. Yeah. SHMUP. Shoot 'em up. A shmup.
Yeah, okay, it's got a little shmup in it. It's got a little platforming. It's definitely open world. Camera changes perspective depending upon. I don't know what it depends upon. Actually, it just changes randomly depending on where you are or what you're about to do. Or usually, if you're walking on something that's platform, it'll cancel.
So you go like 2D.
Dogs.
Oh, dude.
Dogs.
That's great.
Is that flex?
Yep. Flex.
You can see the
Your
blur, like,
your
once.
audio is starting to break up too,
Nice.
Who's a good boy? Who's a good boy? Oh,
They want a piece of that picanha.
yeah.
So, in short, I recommend this game. Playing it, I'm probably 2% in now. Roz, but Roz, if you want to explain a little more about the game because you have more of a grasp on it, I just randomly clicked on it because it said Square Enix, and I said, okay, sure, let me try it.
Yeah, I mean, the game came out I think 4.5 years ago now, and then it got remastered and released on the Xbox One. It's a really good game, and there's not really a lot I can tell without spoiling it for you. But the 26 endings are definitely, the story is reliant on you replaying the game and going through these different endings. And thankfully, when I first heard that, I was like, shit, I don't want to replay the same game 26 times. But it's not that at all. One of the endings literally takes from beginning of the game to the end of this story about 17 minutes. So
Okay.
one of the playthroughs is literally you get somewhere and you're like, hey, what's up? Yeah, it's the ending. The other one you play as different characters. I'm not going to tell you what or who.
Okay.
But you're not always playing as the same one.
Why do these characters resemble the first? Not who was it in Kingdom Hearts that had the blindfold on? It was Riku, right? Riku had the blindfold on. It was in the deep dive trailer. When I saw these characters, they're walking around with these blindfolds on. I was like, yeah, this is a Square Enix product, absolutely. The first the first level actually, I can tell you, is a very good summary of your gaming experience. It has the shmup or shmup, whatever you said. It has the mech conversion. It has the gameplay. It has the cinematics. It did it all. The first episode for me was really hard. It was really hard. I didn't die, but I was on the edge of my seat. I usually play video games with something running in the background. This game I had to stop and I had to focus and I had to like really pay attention because the grunts that you fight, which I know for a fact the story is not everything's not what it seems. It can't.
Correct.
It can't. Something's wrong. I already felt it from the very beginning. So, without giving anything away, the idea is that Earth was taken over by aliens who released robots that took over Earth. That's what I'm being told so far, is that aliens came to Earth, took over Earth with these robots. But these robots, they look like
like garbage, man.
They're like walking garbage cans. I mean, I'm talking about just like take.
How do they do it?
Exactly. Take R2D2, scrub them off, give them legs and two random eyes. It's like if you ask a toddler to draw what a robot might look like, and they'll take a garbage can, invert it, and then they'll put eyes on it, and there you go. There's your robot. Very cliche looking robots. And I'm like, they took over Earth, and you can see the simulation. It's all it's busted up. It's rubble, it's sand, it's water. Was it like a forest? So some of them are evil, some of them are peaceful. As I'm playing this game, I'm scratching my head. No, this is something's wrong with the story.
While you're playing the game, you can fuck up and attack somebody that was peaceful because you weren't paying attention.
Exactly.
And completely either change or ruin the story. It's really interesting.
I think I did that because I went to the carnival and I'm busting up fools. I'm like, yeah, they ain't touching me. And I realized, wait a minute, their eyes are red. What am I doing?
You killed some friendly dudes.
Listen, it was a massacre. You don't get it. Because I just wanted to level up because the grunts, when they hit you hard. Let's be reasonable. They hit hard, really hard. So, and when you die, you're gonna go find your body again and absorb it.
There's a lot of really cool, unique gameplay systems in it too. Like the way you upgrade your character by installing chipsets.
I have no idea what I'm doing.
And you have to pay attention and learn it because you will not beat the game if you don't pay attention.
I can see that because I got to this point by accident and I mean one hit and I'm out.
I'm telling you for sure. Like when we're done, if you're gonna play it again, you need to sit the fuck down, turn on a YouTube video, and learn how to set up your chipsets because you will just not. There are a few bosses in the game where you have to get hit. And if you don't have the chips, you're just gonna fucking die. Like you cannot pass it.
Okay.
So it's like you're never gonna be good enough to beat it because the game is just not built for that.
Yeah, the game. I thought it was just random, just leveling up, but obviously that's not the case. So you're right, and I will do it. But I will let you guys know once this game is probably going to be one of the games that I beat. It's going to be, I believe it or not, I'll beat 2 games in a row. I will give you guys a full review of Battle Chasers when I'm next week. Because I really want to talk about this game. It's just so amazing. I recommend getting it. It's on Xbox Game Pass. It's phenomenal. And if you like anything Square Enix, for the most part, this is gonna get you, especially in the vein of Kingdom Hearts. But this is like a grown-up, very grown-up gameplay and concept. So I recommend it. I love the game. Fantastic. We're gonna move on to Anime and Animation Invasion, Star Wars: The Clone Wars Season 7 review. We are behind 3 episodes, so we're gonna review each episode. By episode 8 now, we're actually concluding the Ahsoka arc-ish. So let's get started with episode 6, Deal or No Deal. Trace makes a rash decision after learning what they were transporting for the Pike Syndicate. So, episode 6, gentlemen. Let's just talk about it. Last we heard, Trace's sister decided to haul spice, and they were arguing about it. And Ahsoka argued, and Trace argued, and sister argued. And Trace decided to release the spice into the vacuum of hyperspace, thus leading to the Pikes capturing them. So, how do we feel about this episode?
I actually was exhausted when I was watching this. Apparently, according to my my Disney Pluses, I've already seen them all, but I don't recall the last 2.5 episodes.
Oh.
Probably do. You probably slept through it because there's so
Too
much.
much White Claw?
Postpone the review then.
Yeah, I mean, from what I do recall, I'm kind of it's kind of fun to kind of see like old Snip, kind of like back and kind of doing the stuff that she kind of was fun for her. Fun watching her kind of doing her little missions to kind of helping people and things like that. That's kind of what kind of I was kind of happy to see her again. I'm very happy with having Ahsoka back. I'm a huge fan of Ahsoka. But I mean, it's just I honestly don't remember enough to actually tell you details and everything. So that, but I know that I was happy.
Roz.
Let me ask you both a question.
Aw.
Are you kind of disappointed that the stories are becoming a little smaller in scope when we're getting close to the end?
Yeah.
So, you mean it's becoming more serialized? This is kind of like it's like all this is going on around you, but you're only seeing this.
Yeah, it's almost like a version of the monster of the week. Instead of serialized would be the opposite, where you would have like the actual characters incorporated into the larger story. There's a lot going on in the background, and we're not part of that story.
Sorry, my misunderstanding of serial, because I was thinking like the old serial, like the old serial, the radio serials.
Yeah,
serials where it's like okay, so same bat time, same bat channel.
Yeah.
Like, that's kind of where my mind was at in that aspect.
I mean, I get where they're coming from. They're trying to give you enough time to get reacquainted with Ahsoka at that part of the time, and you see where her mindset is, and they're using this really mundane interaction between these new characters and this new situation to really flesh out where her mindset is. She just left the Jedi. How did she get from just leaving the Jedi to fighting Darth Vader and saying I'm no Jedi? So I get it, but I think it could have been done more dynamically, or at least more interesting, at the very least.
Especially because we have less than 2 hours of show left.
Yeah,
total.
I feel like they're gonna like they're gonna go blitzkrieg in the last couple episodes. They're just gonna speed through it like really fast.
I think it's gonna go from like, okay, like this is going to. I think this whole situation that with the Pikes with the Pikes and the Martez sisters is gonna basically slingshot her into a situation where she ends up,
Well, I mean, and that is exactly what's going on. So in episode 7, Dangerous Dead, taken prisoner by the Pikes, Ahsoka and the Martinez sisters attempt to escape. And that episode, Roz, correct? Did you see episode 7?
On and off. Yeah, mostly. Yeah.
Okay. Do you remember how it began and how it ended?
No.
Okay, it began and ended the exact same way.
Yeah, that's right. There was no change.
No change. That episode absolutely made it. Was that episode was. I remember looking at the screen and saying, "What was the point of that?" They began in jail. They ended in jail. That's literally it. That's it. None of what would happen made any sense. None of it would happen. Oh no, it made no. Well, it was insignificant. Absolutely, it was a filler episode. It was absolutely a filler. They might as well have done a clips show. They might have had her in the cell, remembering the good old times. That's how insignificant it was.
Them starting in Obada, the prison there was pretty cool, like you mentioned. But I agree with you. This seems like a filler episode that you'd get on the 3rd season of a 6-season show.
Yeah.
Not on the 4th to last episode.
Yeah.
Ever.
Yep. Episode 8, Together Again. Ahsoka bargains for the sisters' freedom and makes a startling discovery. So this is when, of course, you get the beginnings of the next arc and where things are going to finally start ramping up. Yes, you get a hint of Maul. And wait, did you see this episode, Roz?
Yeah, a bit. Yeah.
SqueezyBits, are you caught up on Clone Wars or no?
I am. I just watch it while I'm doing other things.
No, that's SqueezyBits. SqueezyBits. Squeezy.
I'm here.
Are you caught up on Clone Wars? Are you watching the Clone Wars season 7 or?
No, unless my kids watch Star Wars, I don't watch.
Okay. All right, no worries. Just want to make sure we weren't like leaving you out. So speaking of Ross, so you saw episode 8, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Now there was a scene episode. It's gonna be spoilers, so you guys can either cover your ears or whatever. That's when Ahsoka, she uses her Jedi power. She escapes from her jail, and she sees the Pikes talking to Maul. So Maul is on. Now, I remember screaming at the TV saying that's not how holograms work.
Yeah.
He looks over and sees her. Is that how holograms work? Is that how they work now?
Holograms work however they fucking want them to in that universe, apparently.
Because that's not how they work. You can't.
No, they're not their own camera.
Right, that's what I'm saying. Like you see Maul. He's in a hologram. He looks over and he kind of sees Ahsoka. And I scream. I said, that's not how holograms work. You can't do that. You can't see the entire surroundings. I remember flipping out. I'm like, why are you doing this? Yes, Garbanzo.
Two things. One, it could have been the Force.
That's some Force. The Force scope.
Force. Okay, carry on.
One, and two.
Here's
the thing, right? So, in referencing to hologram projections, with again going holograms and then hologram communications or holofilm communications, supposedly. Even in the novelizations and stuff like that, it's always been where what the hologram looks at and sees, the person who's looking through can see. There have been instances where they've had those kind of communications where
I believe you're talking about a holodeck on Starship Enterprise.
Yes, he is.
No. I'm actually in referencing to there was actually it was a book where Han and Leia were speaking to each other, and the thing is, she's looking straight. He's looking straight, actually, and Han. No, correction. It was actually pretty stationary to a kind of like a general V cone shaped area. So I don't know. It depends on which way the cone was shaped, or if they had maybe some different type of. No, because no. I'm correcting myself because
I get you.
And then what ended up happening was that she was able to move her view. But it was basically a projection of her face, and they were able to see each other's projections.
This is what I want you to do, Garbanzo. I need you to catch up on Clone Wars. I need you to watch episode 8. I need you to see how they did it, and you will understand that it was
a little cheesy.
It was bad.
I'm not denying the fact that it probably was like, what the fuck?
Over his shoulder as if he was there. If you're gonna do that, you might as well have had him physically there. You know what I'm saying? Like it's like she wasn't like in open. She was hiding in like pipes or whatever, and he's as a hologram. He looks over his shoulder like this, and, you know. So again, I would have appreciated what you said if it was a Force. Maybe if he closes his eyes and he said, "I
senses her."
And he senses something. Then she comes.
Exactly. I don't think he may have sensed her.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe sensed something.
I don't know, man. This is visual storytelling. They could have fucking portrayed it the right way.
Yeah, they could have. I mean, he obviously looked in her direction, and it was just the weirdest thing. But yeah. So, you know, she meets up with Bo-Katan, and finally, you know, Bo-Katan is like, you know, we need you. Death Watch is over, and they're moving on. So now we're finally getting into the last arc, which like
2 episodes.
There's only 2 episodes left.
Yeah.
I thought we had 12. It's only 6 episodes.
It's 10 episodes.
Let me see. I gotta Google this. I could have sworn it was 12 episodes.
For it.
The last arc is only 2 episodes.
That's why I was telling you. That's exactly what I said. Them telling the stories that they're telling, they're totally wasting time and wasting this character.
Oh my God! It's only 10 episodes.
Hold that thought.
That's awful. So why did you give us those 4 episodes? What, you could have condensed that into 2 episodes if you had to. Listen, I know, but let's. I can't believe they gave us that as 4 episodes.
Yeah,
I thought it was 4, 3 arcs, 4 episodes each. Roz, I'm so heartbroken right now. I feel like I've been lied to.
That's why. Remember, I told you when this started this season, I was like, I have 0 expectations, and I've been watching it with like, I just knew it was gonna let me down, and it is.
That is terrible. I can't believe what a waste. Those episodes belonged in Rebels, not in the final season of Clone Wars.
I really agree with you. I really agree.
Well,
and that's a Rebel right there.
Yeah, too much, isn't it? Well, 2 more episodes to go, and of course it's going to ramp up. I'd love to see where this goes. We're hoping it touches the
No,
tip.
it's gonna be 2 episodes of her working at a Cold Stone, you know,
Probably
on
last
Coruscant, making ice cream. That's it.
It's gonna be like that. And then the last episode, she might come with Maul, and Maul will do one strike and defeat her. I don't
No,
know.
it's like she's walking into the back room, and it's like Maul turns around, and he's the new manager of the Cold Stone, and that's the end of the series.
God damn.
And then we have a spin-off of like,
She's like, "Oh God, my
Good,
boss
bad.
is the Darth Maul."
Oh my god.
dun, dun, dun.
Oh well. So anyway, that's how we feel right now. Clone Wars, the second arc, which apparently was a waste of time. We're very disappointed. At least Roz and I. If you guys, think otherwise, by all means, email us keepbros@0.
Yeah, maybe we're the assholes.
Yeah, maybe I would love to hear an alternative take on how great this last 4 episodes, 5, 6, and 8.
I don't know
were.
about the assholes, but you guys are assholes.
Understood.
True.
We appreciate that. Okay, moving on to SqueezyBits Picks, who's out
Snap.
on right now. SqueezyBits Picks, best movie soundtrack. Now I can't find the video you sent, so you need to pose the question again in your way. Hit us with
Okay.
it.
All right. So here's how it goes. Ennio Morricone is the composer for the soundtrack for The Good, the Bad, the Ugly, and yes, exactly. You know it. You hear it. You know what's about to happen. And there's no other soundtrack that is as iconic as The Good, the Bad, the Ugly. It's been used in stuff like Cowboy Bebop and Tarantino flicks and, 5-0 Goes West. And every time you hear that whistle, you know it's a standoff.
I thought
Like
that
hell.
was just a sound effect. That's actually somebody composed that?
Yeah,
It's
Ennio
an actual
Morricone.
song.
The last 10 minutes of that
cultured.
movie is just them of an entire soundtrack. And then they're just standing and looking at each other for like 10 minutes. It's great. Clint Eastwood is the man. So I think I put it up there. I think it's probably more iconic than Titanic, Frozen, and dare I say, Star Wars, the Darth Vader theme walking in. So, prove me wrong.
Okay. Hit it up.
I mean, I can definitely see that. I mean that song has been used and reused in everything from like animated movies, cartoon series. Shoot, you can see it on TikTok on a regular basis. It's everywhere. Trying to in reference to iconic though, I mean, yeah, it's one of the most iconic soundtracks, iconic I think movie moments and songs in history.
It is the most iconic.
I mean, I can't really think of
It's subjective, but
I mean, I can see how it could be seen as because how often it's used compared to almost anything else. I can't really think of any other song or any kind of other. I mean,
I'm gonna go ahead and put a point on my skin real quick. That's 1 point for me. That's 1 point right here. That's 1 point. Okay. Am I about to get?
I hope that can be washed off.
It's a Sharpie. I'm in quarantine
washed
for like
off in a few days.
I'm here for like 2 or 3 days, so or actually maybe 2 or 3 weeks. So I'm okay.
This is what happens. This is what happens when you get self-quarantined way too long. That's what happens.
Don't hate.
I'm not hating. I'm a little concerned. Garbanzo, are we naming our favorite or our best?
I think personally, I think my all-time favorite. I mean, it's the first one that comes to my mind. Is always going to, and again, not to be to use thumping on the Star Wars Bible or anything. It's just that Darth Vader dun 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 dun. It's always just like it's very ominous and always kind of sticks in your head. Like seriously, it's at one point in time, it was just like when I used to have it for as the ringtone for my ex-wife.
I was gonna say for your current wife.
There's a positive.
That was for the ex-wife. So yeah, that was kind of like I knew that was a turning point when things were changing in my point of view. It's like resist the dark side. But I think between that one and I can't really think of anything else right now off the top of my head because I would have also picked the one from The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly.
Okay, Roz, best soundtrack.
I mean, it's super subjective. I agree with Ennio Morricone being like one of the greats because I mean he even composed The Hateful Eight, a couple of years ago
Yeah.
for Quentin Tarantino, which was his Western because, gosh, how could he not? But
Looks like
like,
another point for me.
is he my favorite? Nah, not at all. I think he's great, but I think Howard Shore, is an excellent composer, and the work that he did for the Lord of the Rings trilogy is stellar. I think Hans Zimmer's entire discography is insane. Everything from doing the music for The Lion King, which is seminal, to Inception, the Man of Steel soundtrack, the Interstellar soundtrack. He made a soundtrack using church organs as his primary instrument. Who does that? This guy's insane. And if we're talking about a composer that has been endlessly emulated, that would be Hans Zimmer. Every single movie that's been made for the Marvel Cinematic Universe, their composers have been desperately trying to recreate the magic that Hans Zimmer does with any movie he makes. Okay. And they have it. And when you think about like how catchy and how consistently good soundtracks are, a Hans Zimmer soundtrack is a Hans Zimmer soundtrack. You can't really recall anything from the Avengers universe, So, is Ennio Morricone the best? I think he's one of. He's definitely on my top 10 list, but I don't think he's my favorite.
But like I said,
but you just compared an organ. You just compared an organ. It's like, who does organs? This guy made whistles. Awesome, dude.
Whistles have been used in soundtracks.
A whistle. Yo, I mean, like, still.
I mean, Benny Hill uses whistles.
Everyone uses organs. I mean, for God's sakes, it's a percussion instrument. Percussion wind? I don't know. Isn't it?
I have no dog in this fight because when it comes to composers and music, I just I'm more of a story kind of guy. But guilty pleasure. I loved the soundtrack for Tron Legacy. I'm sorry.
Yeah, Daft Punk does good work.
It was bumping. I was jamming every moment to everything that was going on there. Look,
it was a music video. It was a Daft Punk music video. That's what it was. It was great.
It was, but I'm telling you right now, I loved every minute of it. That's my That's probably, I don't want to say it's the best, but it's one of my favorite soundtracks.
That's on my playlist. That's on my playlist.
I will listen to that. That's one of the few. That's probably one of the only soundtracks that I know I will listen to because I was digging it that much. So for me, I guess if I have to say best for me, or my favorite best, whatever, is Tron Legacy. That was fantastic.
And on the subject of inspirational and usability, man, if we're talking about a soundtrack that's been used ad nauseum, that would be the soundtrack by Clint Mansell for Requiem for a Dream, because
oh my god, I forgot about that.
The reprise for it, the main movement of that has been used in trailers ever since that movie came out. Constantly, you hear it on everything. And Clint Mansell is an excellent composer. The composer for Amelie. That movie has a gorgeous soundtrack.
Well, you also got to give it to Ennio Morricone's I call him Morricone. His soundtrack. He's been out since like 1967.
Yeah,
the soundtrack's like
something. He's 91 too.
Jeez, my goodness. Oh.
Okay. All right. Well,
but he has only made. That is his claim to fame.
Bro. Don't
that
take my
small
lunch.
handful of movies.
I mean, don't take my lunch because I watched last episode, bro. Let's not argue about tigers right now.
What? What are you talking about?
What are you talking about? Hey, we lost Garbanzo.
No,
sorry. I'm adjusting my my computer screen. I didn't want it to be all. I didn't want to get people all nauseous.
He's adjusting his crotch. He's fluffing it up. All right. Well, if you guys have any best soundtracks or favorite soundtracks, email us keepbros@yahoo.com. I would love it, SqueezyBits, if you want to, because I don't think you have a vanity URL. So tell these fine people where they can find your YouTube channel.
Oh, look me up, SqueezyBits at YouTube, bro.
Yeah, if you go to the YouTube bar and you just type in SqueezyBits, one word, SqueezyBits, that'll be the first thing that pops up. At least for me. So that's it, SqueezyBits, and you'll see. I love the man's editing. His jump cuts are fun for me. It's something that I will never do.
But it's a lot of fun.
It's
watch.
good. It's like not ADD. How do I say? How do I want to say that? Because
It's very YouTube-y.
it's very YouTube-y. Yeah, that actually is a very YouTube-y thing. So yeah, check it out. SqueezyBits is rather animated. The intros to his videos are so random. Like I don't know. I don't know what I'm looking at, and then it cuts to what he's trying to say. Tweeters, we gotta get to talking about graphical intro and logos and stuff, so I can make that for you. But we'll get into that in the future. But yeah, so we give you a little more pizzazz in the beginning. So other than that, we're gonna
I
move
like
on
the
to.
randomness.
I know. At least at the end, give you like a little like bumper or something. But we'll talk about it. Garbanzo's was 42. But what is the question?
Okay, for those who didn't hear him, he actually said that we all know the answer is 42, but what is the question? Now you cut out for half a second. That's right. And also, I just want to add, for the previous part, the composer's name is John Williams. I mentioned the song, but I didn't mention the composer, and I apologize for that. It's a John Williams, who actually also did many other fantastic movies. But that was the previous question. Now on to, we all know the. Okay, so I have been, one of my favorite all-time movies is actually Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. So, and I have read the book, seen the movie, and I've actually listened to the actual original BBC radio drama.
So good.
It's so much fun. It really is.
They say that the movie is a blight on the book. Is that true?
It is. But
it's still okay. Look, here's the thing.
It's so much fun.
Okay, the movie is fun. The book goes into a whole other set of situations, which is amazing. But it's not just one book. People don't understand. There's actually a bunch of other parts that actually in the radio dramas that you can actually reach. The
restaurant at the end of the universe is amazing.
It's one of my favorites, hands down. So it's basically it's almost very Doctor Who-ish in the aspect. It's very the comedy is very dry, very British. One of my favorite lines, hands down, is this may be a little uncomfortable because it's gonna feel like being drunk, and then he looks over and goes like, what's wrong with being drunk? He goes, oh, you ask a glass of water, and I was like, bro, that's so it's the wordplay, the way that it all goes through. It's one of my favorite just things to. I've re-listened to it over and over again, and I just finished a book again yesterday for the third time.
Is it on Audible?
Yes, it is.
All
you
of
can
them,
find
the
that
whole
on Audible.
series.
I have so many credits to use now.
I think it's 7 books. I can't remember.
I think the actual, I want to say about
Right.
5 or 6.
So
The radio dramas. The radio dramas are like 5 or 6.
Yeah, the books themselves, and Another Thing is the last one he wrote in 2009 before he passed away, and it's really good. If you like Douglas Adams' work, I might make a recommendation for you, Garbanzo. Have you ever watched or read, what's it called? Dirk Gently's Holistic Detective Agency?
No.
It's on Amazon if you want to watch the show. It's really, really good. The book itself is absolutely hilarious. So write this down. Dirk Gently's Holistic Detective Agency.
Perfect. Thank you very much. I love it. So
say that again. Just kidding.
What?
Never mind.
So the sorry, hold on, see. So the whole purpose of the movie is actually to try to find the answer to the question of the universe, which is
I thought it was about towels. I love.
That's South Park. But the whole thing is I can explain the whole towel situation, but I'm not gonna go into a tirade right now about that. I can, but that's it. I'm looking forward to it.
What's that?
The show that Roz recommended, Dirk Gently's.
Oh, it's a show. Oh, okay. It's a show.
Yes.
And a book, yeah.
And a book. Okay.
So the answer, according to the movie, is 42. So the computer that they created, it took 7.5 billion years to create, to find out the answer to everything of the universe and life and all that kind of stuff. So what ended up happening was that he answered. He goes, it was 42. He goes, wait, how is that an answer? Well, I mean, it was hard to come up with. It took me 7.5 million years because you never gave me a question. you have to build a different computer to go ahead and find out what the question is. And then 5 minutes before the question was answered, the computer was destroyed.
This is the movie, or this is the
Oh
book?
yeah, no, it's the movie, but you don't get the details that the book gives you.
Oh, okay.
So what's the question? So basically, no one really knows what the question is. I think I heard a couple different variations as a young adult. One of my favorites is how many times a person can masturbate before they die in a day. That was an answer. That was a question someone said. Was it? But in one that they actually mentioned in the book is how many roads a man must walk until he finds the truth, and of course that's why they said 42. There's another couple like and so like me, I've been thinking about this like the last couple of days, and
Quarantine brain. Carry on.
So I've been thinking about this the last couple of days, and I think my answer was with today's society is how many months until we're out of quarantine.
That's sad. That is sad. Can I, before you get into it, canonically, is there an ultimate question, or no? They never.
No. Douglas Adams himself said, "No, I'm never going to give you an answer to that question because I purposefully didn't want there to be an ultimate question."
Oh, okay.
The book, it's absurdist humor. It's really good. It's very funny, but it's that very dry British absurdist humor. And people would constantly ask him, like, "What's the question? What's the question?" And finally, in an interview on BBC like 20 years ago, he was like, "There's no fucking question. Stop asking. It's the whole point. It's supposed to be dumb." God.
And you know what? I think this is a very it's a thing that I want to try to bring back, and I want to, for those who have not seen this, Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, or read any of the books, or listen to any of the novel, the radio
drama,
the radio dramas. I highly recommend the radio dramas.
Great movie. You know what the movie was? Wait. What's wrong with the movie?
Sorry?
What's wrong with the movie?
It's a fun movie. It's just like Garbanzo said, it leaves a lot of the plot behind. So a lot of the movie, you're sitting there going, "Why did this happen?" It's because it's missing a lot of backstory. Just listen to the radio drama; it actually does the book justice.
But I mean, isn't it? That's just what you lost in translation when you're adapting from.
Absolutely, yeah, it is absolutely lost in translation. And I think if you have the option of either reading the book or listening to the radio drama or watching the movie, do one of the two former options before watching the movie.
Actually,
yeah, but according to you, if you do that first, then you're gonna hate the movie. Like that. I feel
but you don't need to watch the movie at that point.
True, but the movie was so good though. I enjoyed it. It was great.
One of my favorite things is actually the music. It's the music and the explanation of the actual book and how it was created and what the whole purpose of the story is.
True.
And they give you a bit of a snippet, and I think for me it was a lot of fun in the movie aspect of actually seeing the digital. Where they use the proper excerpts about the babblefish and don't panic on it and the whole thing, but they don't really go into detail of why a towel is so important.
Exactly.
Okay, because it's so ridiculous. It's so ridiculously simple after they go over.
But just like I thought just like you said that there was actually no question and 42 was absurdist humor. I honestly took it like that. I thought the towel thing was just absurd humor. There was no point to the towel. There was no explanation to the towel. It was just a quirk of the black guy. What's his name again? I forget. That's what I thought it was.
Prefect.
Most Def.
Most Def. Yeah.
But technically, if you listen to the book, it gives you details where it's like, oh, that makes sense.
Yeah.
It makes absolute sense.
But if he's going to explain the point of a towel being necessary, then you would think that, okay, then there you go. Now I can see why people were asking for the question, because I thought that was a quirk. It had no point to it. And I thought it to be funny. You need to wear your towels. You need to keep the towel. That's great.
I think the idea mostly is how useful and multi-use it's an item. You can lay it down and use it on a beach. You can dry off. You can You can roll it up and use it as a pillow. You can soak it in water and use it as a weapon. Actual legit.
It's true. It's in the
it's
book.
actually it's in the book. You can you can
Jeez.
tie it to a stick and use like a sail. And like they go on and all these different functions for a towel, and it is absolutely amazing.
And honestly, that furthers my point, which I really feel like that being removed from the grand story, it really does the movie a disservice, because it's just funny. Like, you never get that answer, like, why the fuck does he have the towel? And it's answered in the book, and it's answered in such a way that you're like, this is the dumbest thing I've ever read, and it's absolutely hilarious, and I love every word in these paragraphs.
And ever since I actually read the book the first time, there's a towel in my trunk at all times.
There you go.
Just saying.
Okay, I'm going to. I have all these extra credits. I'm sold. I'm gonna start getting all these the books and the dramas, whatever, and get them on Audible. I have a choice. I have to. Well, Garbanzo, final thoughts before we move on.
The answer is what you want it to be. 42 is always good. I mean, the questions that we're going to want it to be, the answer is always going to be 42. I check out Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. It is on audible.com. Audible, send me free stuff. Send us free stuff, please. We love free credits, free books. We review everything and anything. I listen to books like I'm a rabid Audible user. So check out the audio. The radio dramas are absolutely fantastic, and don't just wait for don't just do Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. There's the Restaurant at the End of the Galaxy and a couple other things that actually all kind of incorporate to each other, and it's just great. The radio dramas are fun because you get some of the music, you get dramatization, you get some sound effects, whereas in the audiobook, it's not. You don't get that. You get you get more detail. You get about an hour's worth more detail, an hour and a half more detail and words and all that kind of fun things that come in books, but you don't get a lot of the music and it helps you just picture things so much clearer in your mind when you hear the Vogon's voice that sounds like some guy in a really crappy they do it to a highly depressed droid, and he saves their lives at the very end of the very end of everything, and the way he does it is absolutely phenomenal. But yes, highly recommend it. Please go out, check it out, and keep obscure, weird humor alive, because why not?
I like it. Now, we had the question of the day next, but Darflex disappeared apparently. So we're going to save that for when he either reappears or for the next episode, because this is his thing. So we're going to move on to Vibe is Always Right, and only a Sith deals in absolutes. The coronavirus, a line in the sand. I was listening to a Core Report talk, and they were asking, the question he had asked was, as the coronavirus pandemic continues to alter our society and how we are living right now,
How we interact, yeah.
How we interact as well. The question that was asked is what is your line in the sand? What won't you accept as things get progressively more and more complicated, and more strict as this continues? Will you accept? And I pose this question to you guys here: will you accept forced vaccinations? Will you accept being forcibly dragged out of your home if you test positive? Will you accept forced testing on you? Will you accept biometrics and microchipping? Will you accept a what's it called? Bill Gates wants a electronic immunization passport that allows you to travel, saying that you're immunized. What won't you accept as this continues to go on of certain things that were listed?
I'm going to jump into this real quick. So let's go down a list of some of the things you mentioned. You can't force test someone that wants to be tested. For me personally, I mean, honestly, if someone says it gives me the option to get tested, I want to do it.
Okay.
Obviously, without a question. I mean, I've seen I've seen those long ones that go in the nose or the back, and it doesn't look like fun. But you know what? If it's got to be done, it's got to be done. Why? Because I want to make sure those around me are safe. Yep. Unlike what most people believe and try to keep insisting on talking about, and it drives me absolutely bonkers that this is not a flu virus, and anyone who considers this a flu virus is actually has not properly educated themselves into the situation
Ill-informed.
and know what it is. It is nothing, and no form or fashion of a flu actual virus. It is actually more of a SARS or even a MARS. It's a respiratory virus which destroys lung tissue. The flu does not do that. There is no long-term effects from the flu. Yes, you can die from the flu, from complications from the flu. This thing kills you because it doesn't allow you to breathe. There's a difference. It's
considered a complication.
Yeah, it is. But it's where the flu is more indirect, whereas compared to anyways, the whole thing with Bill Gates. So he wants everyone to get electronically chipped to show proof of vaccinations. So he wants people to have
there's two things.
a digital copy.
The biometrics is one thing, and then the actual digital vaccinated passport is another issue. There's two separate issues, but yes.
Okay. All right. So let's go over the vaccination passport.
The Vax Pass.
The Vax Pass. To go to certain countries and to travel into certain areas, you need that anyways. And those who do not understand that or know that just don't know how certain travel works, or they haven't had to go to countries where dengue fever is still a huge issue, or actually some of the major countries in Africa, you still have to have a list of vaccinations that you have taken prior to traveling over there, because they don't want you to bring something back and hurt other individuals. That's something that's already in place. Where if you travel, you have to get a visa, and to get that visa, you have to show proof of vaccinations.
Right.
Or you just don't travel. That's a legit thing going on right now. So you're gonna tell me that I don't have to carry on paperwork? I have a digital little card that's gonna have all that information for me? I don't understand what the situation is, or what's everyone so afraid of. Secondly, it's not fucking mind control. Okay, that's not how this works. This is not a sci-fi movie. People, you gotta just take a dial back down a bit, or just
what's that mind control?
Vaccines.
Vaccines, or the whole thing is this: biometric or RFID chipping. Okay, people have been doing RFID chipping already. It's people who do it voluntarily because they want to have it easy on their hands.
I'm not talking voluntarily. I'm saying mandatory.
It goes okay. In this
Will you
country,
accept that?
Okay,
that becomes
first and foremost, in this country, that shit would never happen. Okay, there's way too many.
I'm not saying that it will not happen. I'm asking you to draw a line in the sand. What will you not? The question is, what will you not accept as this quarantine world continues? That's the question. Where do you draw the line when it comes to
asking me
who I'm
gonna bunker with for the zombie apocalypse? Because the fact is that there's
someone
just
with
as
a lot
much.
Of guns.
No,
Most likely. I mean, I'm gonna hang out with JJ probably, but the thing is that answer is just as valid as the answer for the question you're asking me now.
No, I'm not trying to be hypothetical. I'm saying these things. Let's say these things are in effect and they're gonna go into effect. Let's say, where do you draw the line? I'm not saying whether it can or can't happen. Let's just say these are things are going to happen. Let's just say that. That's the question. Where do you draw the line in the sand for yourself? That's what I'm asking. Or do you draw a line in the sand? You just accept everything that
I don't,
and you move forward.
See, the whole thing is that it's very black and white in this situation the way you're trying to depict it, and it's not black and white. None of the situations are black and white. That's like saying team blue or team red. I'm team purple because depending on the scenario in each situation. Because you're talking about you're talking about hypotheticals. You don't want to say they're hypotheticals, but they're hypotheticals.
I am talking about hypotheticals, but I'm saying to project it as it is going to happen, as it is fact. Right now, you have been told because of the coronavirus, you need to be implanted with an RFID chip. Period. There's no fans of buts.
What's the reasoning behind it?
Forget the reason. They said that because of the coronavirus. Period. You have to be chipped because they need to make sure that if you become positive, we need to know where you are at all times and that you can't. It's like a low Jackson, whatever you want to call it, for any excuses you want. I'm asking you, just very simply, do you just accept it, or do you draw the line in the sand there? That's what I'm saying. Do you have a line that you won't cross when it comes to these new quote unquote draconian measures?
I get the reticence that Garbanzo has in answering this question because it is it's hypothetical, obviously, but it's so outside the scope of the norm of something that could or would happen that it's difficult to answer because there's a lot of steps between where we're at now. And I'll answer your question, but what I'm trying to get at is there's a lot of steps between where we're at now and this hypothetical reality where you are being forced to implant yourself with an RFID chip. Where's the line in the sand? More than likely, it would have been 33 steps back.
Before that,
we wouldn't have gotten to the point where we're like, oh crap, I guess, now is when I say I'm not going to accept it. There would have been a cascade of legislation before this, and there would have been, voting. There would have been things that would have stopped this before it became an issue. So again, your question, a fair question, which is what is your line in the sand, is difficult to answer because it is so far-fetched that it's a little difficult to, rationalize a reality where that could happen. And that's why I would have trouble answering your question. Like, what's my line? Shit, man, it wouldn't have. My line was like 43 blocks behind us.
But it's that, and that's the point I'm trying to say. Is like it wouldn't. I don't ever see it get to that point. Because people are going to rise up as soon as. Here's the thing: if someone were to turn around and say, "You know what? You have coronavirus, and and you got to stay home." Okay. You don't stay home. You purposely go out and infect other people. Now, why not just put that person in a plastic box and throw them in the deepest ocean? Honestly, that's the way I see it.
Or maybe like a camp where they have to concentrate on what they did.
Yeah, and break rocks and stuff.
Sure.
Yeah, I'd be okay with that.
I don't know. I really think our lines. We actually don't know where our lines are. Like hell, if a couple of months ago, for no reason, somebody told me you have to stay home. It's like, okay, for months at a time. You can't leave. You can't go to the gas station, or you can just barely go to the gas station. You can barely go to the grocery store, and you have to come in at 10. I'd say they're crazy. This is America. I get to go out whenever I want. But here we are on Skype, and I don't know if you guys have been out recently. I haven't been out for like 5 days. Last time I went out was for grocery stores. Recently, I listened to how like I recently listened to how South Korea, whichever non-communist Korea, really solved situations was like tracking their people. And honestly, the only difference between a microchip and our cell phones is how we interface with things, right?
Correct.
Like how we're actually connected with it. I'm pretty sure if someone were to say, this is how you're going to survive it, this is how we're going to get out of our houses, you have to be microchipped. I'm pretty sure 80% of the population that can afford whatever process that is going to pay for that process. Because Korea allowed everybody to track them as soon as this is where you were, this is what we know about you, we're going to forward all your information to other people, and this is happening. Like for people being so scared of like securing their own stuff and not knowing where they want to be, they don't even want their own significant other to know where they are at all times. They're allowing the government to do this. Hell, recently Apple and Google they started teaming up together, and they're going to create an app, or if they haven't already created it, that allows people to know that you've been within 30 feet of someone that's had the coronavirus. I mean, think of it. Like you were just talking about Team Red and Team Green, or whatever color, Team Red and Team Blue. Well, this is Team Green and Team, what color is Apple? Whatever the color they are, and they're teaming up to track us. And we're gonna allow these people because hell, this is how we live nowadays.
We're already tracked.
Yeah, I mean,
the line is, like I said, the line is way behind us. And to play devil's advocate to what Squeezy was talking about, how many deaths has South Korea had? Do you guys know? Because I know.
What?
For the COVID-19. 255.
There you go. So they're doing something right.
And their population centers are much more dense than ours.
Yeah, that's very true.
Yeah, and I think they also learned from like last time when they had the MERS or something like that. That's what the news is saying.
SARS.
Yeah, SARS.
SARS, yeah.
Whichever one.
Oh, sorry, it's 225. I was.
Oh my goodness. Damn, I think we have that amount.
We have that in Broward County.
In Broward County.
We only have 77 in Broward. Come on.
I know.
Now.
Florida.
Yeah.
Florida.
That was hyperbole.
No, we have
for the
more
sake
than
of making a point. it's sad that a single state in our country has more deaths than an entire country. You know, it's rough.
I think New York. Well, like I said, I think we'd be willing to take a lot more than for the sake of surviving. I think this whole like freedom thing is created by whatever the government tells us is freedom.
We gave up so many freedoms after 9/11, and we've never gotten them back. We willingly submit ourselves to be searched in entirety every time we fly. We gave Homeland Security the freedom to go into a house warrantless and search it because we were afraid of terrorism. So America is very comfortable with giving up freedoms if it's for their own safety. So the line, I don't think the line exists.
See, the best thing to do is this. It's if they came in a situation like that, go off the grid. If that's how you really feel, go off the grid. Go live in the mountains. No one's gonna bother you. You can make your own moonshine, raise your own food. Like there's thousands of people that do it already. Okay, it's possible. It's okay. But the thing is that it's like when you sign that agreement in reference to your cell phone usage, you are basically allowing them to use your location.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact of the matter is that someone tells me around, say, "Hey, Lewis, I want to go ahead, or Bean, go ahead, and I want to let you go ahead and we're gonna give you. We need access to your cell phone history to track you in case you come into contact with someone that may, end up getting you and your family sick." Okay, you're tracking me already. What's the issue?
I think you guys are being far too casual by comparing the tracking potential of your cell phone, which is a physical thing that you carry with you, and something that's implanted inside you. Now, if you want, you can leave your cell phone at home. You can head out the door without your cell phone. The chip, however, is implanted in you. That is it. The one decision and the last decision that you make with the RFID chip is getting it implanted. There is no turning it off. There's no blocking it. For all I know, it's just that's it. And you are now with it.
With anything that blocks RFID.
I think.
What you think?
I think at the end, I think as long as I get to do whatever I want to do at the end of the day, or maybe I feel like I want to do, I'll make sacrifices. Yeah, chip me
like
all you want. Like
freedom. Freedom is a sliding scale. People like Squeezy, you hit it right on the head, man. Like people will give up anything as long as they're comfortable,
Yeah, as long as I get to do whatever I feel like I want to do at the end of, or whatever I imagine I like to do at the end of the day, hell, I'll chip up. Like, hey, I'll be alive after this. You know what I don't want? I don't want to stay in this room. I don't want to stay in this house for like the next 22 months. Which is like, I think somebody said like we're gonna be out in like 2020, or we can't shake hands till after 2020 when the vaccine comes out. It's like, hey, if the chip were to come out tomorrow and they said I'm immune to it and I can't give anybody else sickness and I can be out as long as I want, even if I didn't want to, I just want that option available. You're probably going to be able to take a lot of freedoms that I have. Freedom is so like kind of, it's an imagination. Like, hell, there's so many laws that we're surprised, like, oh, that's illegal? Okay, I'll stop doing that. And you're like, oh, that's legal? Yeah. Like we don't know what the country has actually given us versus what they've actually taken away from us anyways. So if you can say I'll survive tomorrow, hey, here's the chip. Here, chip me up.
And here's the thing. So it's a subdermal implant. All right. You're talking about something that as if it can never be removed either.
I didn't say it couldn't be removed. That's not what I'm saying.
Well, no. But that's kind of the way the impression it came in the form of the question.
No.
It's like they stick it inside you and they put like a metal band around you so you can't take it out. That's kind of the impression that I got mentally.
No, it's for me. It's like a water tattoo and a regular tattoo. A water tattoo, you can wipe that crap off if you want. A regular tattoo, you got to get that lasered off. It's a little bit harder than that. So that's what I'm saying. Is that when it comes to cell phones, yes, cell phone technology has exactly the same thing that the RFID chip will have. The difference is you can literally, at a moment's notice, just leave your cell phone home. Now, if you want to remove the chip, God only knows how much it'll cost or how you'll have to do it. And that's what I'm saying. The ease to disconnect isn't there, is what I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. But no, that wraps up the coronavirus and line in the sand discussion. I was just curious what you guys had to say, and we're gonna move on to open mic. One topic before we wrap up. Bob Iger thought he was leaving. I'm gonna give this to you, Garbanzo. This comes from the NewYorkTimes.com.
Yeah. So what happened with this is actually it surprised the world out of me. So everyone understands that Disney basically is closed, and the thing is that they don't know when they're closing. And I mean, when I say Disney, I mean Disney as a
As a brand or the parks?
as well, the parks
entity.
as an entity, they're all closed. The stores are closed. I mean, the online store is still going on. You know, you
Right.
can still get your Baby Yoda plushie if you really want one.
Because I checked Plus, am I just Plus is still working? So I was just curious.
So you can still get, you know, it's, you know, most of that stuff's been in China anyways, and but it's
Too soon. Too
uh,
soon.
No.
sorry, I couldn't-
Well deserved, you mean? Well deserved.
So the parks are basically still shut down. I haven't heard anything about the parks reopening anytime soon, and I've been keeping up to date. They've actually Universal was the first one to close between the parks in Florida and the United States, and Disney closed almost a few days after. Once they realized, like, okay, this is getting way too serious, and we need to be part of the solution, not part of the problem. They have had to cut back on staffing dramatically, and now it's gone all the way up to the top. So their new CEO, oh crap, I forgot his name, but he looks like that bald dude. Um,
Their former new CEO, you mean?
Chapik? Chapik?
Chapik. Yes,
Chapik,
yes.
sorry.
I can. Yeah, So Bob Chapik was the new CEO and was kind of in there while Iger was still holding as the presidency and kind of working as a kind of like a co-chairman. While one step down between Bob Chapik, while the process was of him finishing up his last year with Disney in the portion of the CEO. Chapik is gone now. He's been laid off, and Bob Iger is back in spot. Why? Because they can't afford two CEOs, and Iger being the senior, this is where he's at. So right now, there's a whole lot of different things going on. Like, I
There's
don't know
blood
if
in the water.
well, I wouldn't say the whole thing is that it's people forget that Disney is still a company, and there's a lot of and it's not just the people working in the restaurants, the people working in their hotels that right now are have been laid off, but also the hundreds of foreign students that were here on their part of their programs, their leadership programs, that had to go home because they had nowhere to stay. That they were paid for for a portion of time until they were able to get a flight out, but that's it. Um, the workers, the people who dress in characters, and they're basically that's it. The majority of Disney's work, I think, staff that works inside the actual parks actually comes from college students working different hospitality programs through the Disney University program, and basically all university students were told to go back to your country, your home state, your home city, and then to wait around and just wait. But that being said, this was, I want to say it wasn't as I wasn't as surprised. I wasn't as surprised as I thought I was going to be about this call. And Ross makes a great point. During this process, also all the TV and movie productions have closed. All the animation, even the animations have been shut down. Because you would think, oh, animate, I can do that at home. Okay, so people forget that they use the voice actors to actually animate, and when they're doing their recordings, and then they use that as the basis to draw the facial features and hand gestures and things like that to make it more realistic. So without having that interaction, it's kind of hard to do that at home. Not everyone has a professional sound recording studio at home with the proper kind of technology to get the sound quality you need for those movies. So again, this is a huge big hit to their income, and it is what it is. But I'm not surprised to hear about this. I still wish Disney the best, and I can't wait for the parks to reopen, because I am definitely taking some taking a day to go up there. I'm on my next day off after my job starts again. I'm gonna visit as soon as possible.
Vibe, pulling back to the question you asked before, just to tie the Disney conversation to it, like, how do you guys see us after, this whole thing? Like, how are the parks going to operate? Because, it's going to be contingent on people vaccinating. It's not like the disease is going to vanish, how do these parks operate after this COVID pandemic?
Dude, I don't know.
I'm looking at how the grocery stores are coping with it right now, and it's not, they're not doing really well when it comes to letting only for a certain amount of people in line out the door. And parks are designed for mass social appeal.
Yeah, huge volume.
And that's their business model. They're gonna have to either go back to business as usual, or figure out a new business model that takes that account. And that sucks, because can you imagine Disney and Universal, with all that space between people and there's no crowds? That's part of it. It's like,
they wouldn't be profitable at that point.
Exactly. To the point where they would.
If it was my call, two things. One, either the person would have to be vaccinated to come for the first 2 years. After that, and things have been somewhat controlled, maybe allow people to come that are not vaccinated, possibly. A Disney vaccine wristband, that would be. It's a collector's item. You said it. It's real.
I'm selling mine. I have them. They're for sale.
We'll have 2 up on sale soon for as soon as they come out. But that's legit. It's definitely. I wouldn't see if I was told. I know I'm getting vaccinated as soon as the vaccine becomes available, and it's shown as proof it's safe, and I get the thumbs up from the medical professionals in my family that this is the right thing, it's the vaccine to get. Then I'm gonna do it. I know for a fact I am. It's not even a question. And so, if I have to get it tattooed on my arm saying I got vaccinated and have my doctor's signature on it, I don't care.
How about the chip, bro? The chip to go to Disney, bro.
If it's already on there, it's already on there. It is what it is. But like I said, it's safety for everybody, man. That's my big thing. Yeah. So honestly, but I think it's gonna take at least 2 to 3 years before
things go back to normal.
Before things go back to what we feel is normal before this.
I suspect a lot of discounts on annual passes, to at least get the locals going. Because Florida seems to be trying to open up, even like against the grain.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
It's against any kind of intellect. It's crazy. Like, but I think they're gonna really try to. I think annual passes are definitely gonna be on a discount.
I'll be getting mine.
Yeah, me too. Yesterday I was just talking with my wife. I want to go to Epcot. I want to have like Epcot margaritas. I don't know if
churros. I want churros right now.
I just want a Dole Whip.
Yes.
They released both of those recipes online.
The recipes, yeah. I know. Yes. I'm gonna work on it.
Actually, that's my next YouTube video, guys. It's actually personal consuming stuff. Oh, but they also recently released Atlas released their Japanese curry for Persona 5. But yeah. Disney, I can't wait for them to open, man. I don't care what they do. Like as soon as they say I can leave the house for more than like 12 hours, I'm gonna make a 4-hour drive to Orlando, go to Epcot, and then come back with possibly COVID-19. That's probably exactly what's gonna happen. But like I think our medical staff, they keep harping on we're gonna all become immune to this. It's gonna either die out because we've all developed an immunity to COVID-19.
Because we've gotten
it. Yeah, or everyone else just becomes don't care, YOLO. Oh, back to YOLO. I need Disney in my life. They need to open up. I don't care. Yeah, sorry if
I
sorry.
love
Say
it.
one
All
more.
right. Yeah, continue.
All right. I'm sorry if my mom listens to this. I was just kidding about the chip. I'm not getting the chip, Mom. I'm not getting the chip. That was it.
All right.
He's getting
And,
two.
well, that's it for Keepin the Geek Bros episode 99.2. Remember, you can check us out on Instagram and Twitter. That's Geek Bros with a 0, GEKBR0S. Email us about anything we talked about today or other days, previous past days. Geekbros with a 0 yahoo.com. Follow our always slamming Facebook page, facebook.com/geekbros with a 0. WeGeeksPC.com, the first place to listen to us. I want to say every week. Last week was a fluke because we were, I forgot the thing at work and we just didn't work out. But anyway, almost every Wednesday or so.
Almost.
WeGeeksPC.com, almost every Wednesday. And of course, for the time being, you can still check us out. Our video recaps, youtube.com/VibeRev Studios, VIBEREV STUDIOS. Coming soon is youtube.com/GeekBros, GEKBR0S, where you'll have the entire catalog of all Geek Bros past, present, and future work all in one spot just for you. But we'll get to it. Shameless promotions, gentlemen. Garbanzo.
You can find me on the IG and the Twitter at BeanTKE278, and also on the YouTubes, which hopefully in the near future things will actually be happening. But this new job's got me. I prefer, as much as I love making content for people and doing fun stuff at home, I also like making money. So if I have
Understood, sir. Understood.
But actually, I forgot to mention this, guys. Did you guys, that no one in Antarctica actually has COVID-19? It's because they're so isolated.
Oh my
So you're practicing dad jokes, is what you're saying.
What?
Damn.
What? I don't have a book of dad
Oh,
jokes.
Man.
Shoot.
Oh, that's right.
They're isolated.
Roz.
Find me on Instagram at Ray Raziel. Oh God.
SqueezyBits.
Hey, Google me, SqueezyBits. Actually, I'm the first thing that pops up. My YouTube channel, SqueezyBits. Find my YouTube channel. You'll also find my Instagram. Oh, not to say. Speaking of YouTube, I'm pretty excited for your YouTube channel. I'm definitely gonna be trying to beg you guys to tie into some of my content.
Oh, collaboration. We're all about cross collaboration. Collaboration.
Cross-collaboration.
I'm pretty excited.
Yes.
This is definitely the channel that changed how I format my YouTube videos, and thanks for that. And thanks for having me on today.
It's funny. I'm watching your content and I don't see our influence in any of your content. I don't know what you're talking about, but I appreciate you saying that. It warms our hearts, and mine for the post-production work. But otherwise, you can find me everywhere: Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, and .com. It's VibeRev Studios, VIBEREV STUDIOS. So thank you for tuning in to Keep Up the Geek Bros podcast, and remember, geeking out still sounds this good.
Keeping up with the Geek Bros.